Okay, everybody, welcome to another My Colony podcast. I know it's been quite a while since I've had a new episode. Actually, in fact, the last time I did a real episode about a My Colony release was at the beginning of 2017, which was for version 0.23.0. And so now, as I'm getting ready to push out the update to 0.80.0, just about 2 years later, I thought it'd be good to update everybody who still is subscribed to the podcast on what has happened over the last couple years with My Colony, what's coming down the pipeline, what you might have missed, what's new, and so on. So let's get into it. So pretty much the biggest change to the game that has really altered the way the gameplay works in the last year or so has been the introduction of regions. And regions is kind of an idea that I stole from SimCity 4, which I used to just play the heck out of. And what it is, it's a large empty map where you can build city plots, and then each plot is its own individual colony file, and all of the colonies in this huge region share resources, share money, share atmosphere, share everything. And it's basically like one huge city, except just broken up into smaller districts. And the reason why I originally implemented this is for game performance. As people started getting these big colonies with 100, 200, 300,000 people, and then 1 million, 2 million, 3 million people, this is really bogging down the game engine, which really wasn't designed to support populations that big. And so I implemented a way in regions that lets you still have a huge population, but split the processing up into several different smaller areas to keep performance good, but while still being able to have a huge colony. To me, regions is by far the best way to play. If you have a premium version of the game, or if you've got it on Steam, regions is the primary mode of play. Single cities are still supported, and if you don't have premium, single city is your only option. But really, if you're starting a new colony and you've bought the game, then you should definitely be using a region. It is the best way to play, and it's the way that's going to be getting the most development going forward. Now, as I kind of just hinted to a moment ago, My Colony was released on Steam a few months ago, and for some of the people who have only played on either Android or iPhone, you may not have been aware that My Colony has always been available on the desktop, and the fact of the matter is the interface on the desktop is about 100 times better than on a touchscreen. So if you've only been playing on mobile, I would suggest finding the game either on Steam, on the Windows Store, or from my own file website, the Ape Market, because the desktop game it's like a whole different ball game compared to touchscreen. It's not even in the same universe. The game is designed primarily with the desktop interface in mind, and so it's really the best way to play by far. Now, I kind of wanted to just discuss the premium version of the game, and over the last year, the premium content in the game has been expanded considerably, and I've seen a lot of complaints about this, like in the App Store comments, in my email even, where people are like, "Oh, Brandon, he's become the new Electronic Arts with all this premium stuff." And to that, I'd just like to say, I still add a ton of free content. The free game is huge. It provides hours and hours and hours of play, and there is only one purchase in the game that unlocks everything. There's none of this diamonds, nickel and diming stuff that pretty much every game has nowadays. You're not going to be buying loot crates or whatever. It's just one-time buy. It's cheap. I think it's fair. For the most part, you can play the game without premium and be just fine if you want. The reason I've been adding more to premium is the simple fact that advertising in apps is not what it used to be. It makes almost no money. The only way to actually continue working on this game and have it be worth anything to me is to have the premium content in there. And so for that, I greatly appreciate everybody who's bought it and supported the game. For those players who do not have premium, I'm just going to tell you these are the best ways to get it. First, if you ever think you're going to want Steam, you should buy the Steam version. The reason is, if you buy the license on Steam, it'll copy over to every other platform. However, it doesn't work in the opposite direction. That's one thing. If you don't care about Steam, the best way, for me personally, for you to buy it is from my website. And it accepts PayPal and credit card, and the reason for that is, if you buy it from me, PayPal takes a transaction cut of about 40 cents. However, if you buy it from Google Play takes 30% of the transaction, and so does iTunes. It's a huge cut out of the profits when you buy it from one of the app stores. And for people who don't have credit card, don't have PayPal, I've also added a printout order form on my website if you want to send me a check if you live in the United States, or if you can even send me a $5 bill and I'll add premium to your account. So there's options if you want to get premium. Since the premium, when you purchase it from my website or Steam, will transfer to all of your devices, I'd highly recommend getting it that way rather than from Google Play or iTunes or even the Windows Store, because those avenues just take so much of the profits for themselves as the middleman. And so, for my own sake, you get the same premium no matter where you buy it. Just think of old Brandon and try getting it from my website. So the last few updates to My Colony have been mainly about bug fixes and performance improvements, and it's probably going to be like that for a couple more updates. I've gotten a lot of App Store comments and emails and stuff where people are like, maybe slow down on the new content and work on getting everything really fixed that's already in there. And so even though I prefer making new content, as everybody knows, I am going to slow down for a little bit and just get everything fixed up and ready to go before the next big thing that gets added to the game, which is the expansion of federations. There's a lot of new plans coming for federations. There's going to be trade routes, which people are looking forward to. There's going to be kind of multiplayer added to the game dealing with federations. So there's going to be really cool stuff coming, but before I do that, I'm just kind of taking a step back and trying to get everything fixed and just good to go and everything ironed out before I embark on breaking everything again with a big new expansion of the game into Federations territory. Also, one thing I'm going to be working on that's going to be taking up a lot of my time over the next few months is Colony Wars. Some of you know what I'm talking about. There's been a lot of requests over the years to add fighting to My Colony and multiplayer. But to me, it's a city building game. It's not really a fighting game. So in order to get around that, I'm making a totally new game called Colony Wars. And this one is like, okay, when I was in high school, my favorite computer game was Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun. I liked that one. I also liked Red Alert 1. And so the mechanics, I'm really just copying from those two games. It's like Command & Conquer, old school Command & Conquer with My Colony units. It's going to be a real-time strategy game that's going to have online multiplayer against AIs, and it's going to have a campaign mode. It's probably not going to have the cheesy cutscenes of Command & Conquer because I'm not much of an actor, but the gameplay is, I'm going to try to copy those old Command & Conquer games as much as I can. It's coming with a built-in map editor to make your own maps. It's going to be cool. The monetization of it is going to be kind of like My Colony, where there's free stuff and then there's premium. Just one purchase for the premium. There's not going to be any advertising, no banner ads in it on the mobile version. It's at this point, it's almost not even worth it to implement banner ads, so I'm not even going to bother. I think the game's going to be really fun. I'm really going to be putting a lot of time into it over the next couple months. And so that's going to take a lot of the new content time away from My Colony. But after Colony Wars is out, I'll be back to My Colony again. But My Colony's still going to get the bug fix and performance updates that I've dedicated myself to working on over the next couple months. But yeah, be looking for Colony Wars. I've been posting about it on my forum. I made a new Colony Wars section. I've been posting some YouTube videos about it. You could check them out. I think it's going to be a really fun game for people like me who loved Command & Conquer. So be looking forward to that. And finally, just to wrap this up here, I wanted to kind of talk about the future of the podcast, what I see with it. As you know, I haven't posted anything in a long time. And the reason for that is, if you go back to the old episodes of the podcast, they're like an hour plus long. And, I did have a bunch of guests from the community on there. But the thing is, with those long podcasts, it takes a lot of my time to do. You got to go back and kind of edit them, which takes even longer to do than listening to the podcast. And also, to me, it's just weird sitting here talking into the microphone, and I don't totally like podcasting. But that said, those old episodes, we're getting, several hundred or more listeners per day. And so if people actually like the podcast, I don't mind doing them in these short 10-minute spots like this one is. You can let me know on the forum, on the podcast comments, and just email me. And if you want to keep seeing stuff like this, I don't mind doing a few short podcasts a month, but I really don't want to go back to that hour-long stuff, and I got everybody in the Discord channel. I'm trying to get the recording set up, everybody's microphones working. I really don't have time for all that. But if you guys want to see these short podcasts, I'm fine with doing that, keeping you updated on My Colony. I could also branch out and just make a general Ape Apps podcast where I talk about all the stuff I'm working on, not just My Colony. But you guys just let me know what you want to see, and if people if this podcast gets the listens like the old ones do and people want to hear more, then I don't mind making more. Just regular, reasonable length podcasts. So with that being said, I just want to thank everybody for listening. Thank everybody who plays My Colony and all my other games. And possibly stay tuned for more. If people want to hear more, then that's what we'll do. So thank you and have a good day.